Like there's so many ways that this is a gift to people that to say that one or the other. And I do think that, I mean, I when I teach spiritual disciplines in the academic setting, what I often tell people is that they should focus in on the disciplines, the spirituality that is the most life-giving and energizing to them. So like whatever your thing is that just makes you feel alive, then do that the most. But you still should eat your vegetables, like you should still go and eat the part, like do the parts that are hard for you some of the time. Like I don't eat big piles of green beans, but I do eat some green beans, I think that being able to say, okay, I am going to do some of this because it will be good for me, but this is the thing that gives me life. And I'm going to focus my time there and just know that that's who you are. Well, buen camino there, pilgrims. Today I have a really special episode. Again, we are talking again with Nadine from Nadine Walks and Kate from Wanderlusting Lawyer. Our subject for today is going to be to talk about all the different ways that people walk their Camino, from the ways that the distances that they walk, how early they get in the morning. There's so many different ways to approach the Camino today. That's our topic with my friends. I hope that you'll enjoy this episode.
I would love to talk just for a couple minutes, because this can kind of be a shorter question, but just about your walking style. And I think we've kind of talked about this a little bit too, but I just think it could also be nice to highlight, exactly, like how maybe we are similar when we walk and how we're different, right? Like, do you like to stay in albergues? Do you prefer, like Kate said, a private room every once in a while? Do you like to sleep in? Do you get up early? Do you walk fast, slow? Do you stop a lot? Do you keep soldiering on? So what, Kate, how about you start us off with that one? What's your style like when you walk?
Sure, yeah. So I'd say I'm a quicker walker. I enjoy like knowing where I'm going and getting there. Because one of my favorite things was like once you arrive, take your shower, do your laundry, and then you go out explore the town. So for me, I like to walk 6, 7 hours a day, but it's great to then have enough time like in the little town or the city that I'm in to get to see it. Because I'm more of a city person, I'd say, in the sense of like I like to see the shops and the museums and things like that. So I didn't take a lot of rest. So one thing I probably could have done, and I see people give this advice all the time for from a foot care perspective, is to stop, rest your feet, change your socks, take that break. I don't think I did that one time, maybe one time, like when my feet were dying on the Aragonés, but on the Francés, I did not. If I was stopping, it was probably for café con leche, which is like the miracle elixir of the Camino. The best coffee in the world, in my opinion, is in Spain. And having a snack, like using the restroom, whatever. Those were my stops. Every once in a while, like if I'd read about something really interesting in a guidebook, if there was something like particularly unique in a church or whatever, I would stop, maybe get a stamp and see something. But in general, like at least on the Francés, I was trying to get somewhere by lunch. The Aragonés was totally different. There was one day I didn't get to the end of my day until 7:30. Like I had never experienced that before. And that for me, that's one of the reasons why a summer Camino is nice, because it's still sunny until 10. So it's not really the end of the world, but I do tend to be a little later to bed because I am that person that stays up socializing. And like, those were some of my most special moments. Like I remember, I cannot remember the name of the city, Mansilla de las Mulas, maybe. I don't know. It was a little bit of a bigger city, town city on the Meseta. And just for some reason, I stayed up. I met this Spanish woman and we stayed up late chatting just about life and everything. And that was the only time I saw her. We weren't on the same stage the next day. And, but everyone else was in bed. I mean, there was a nice outdoor courtyard, so we weren't keeping anyone up, but I'm definitely the person who will trend towards staying up later if I'm in a good conversation. So then I do tend to wake up later. And I have had situations where I've been in a room with like 20 other people. I woke up and I was the only one left. So there has been that. But yeah, I do walk a little faster. And like I mentioned before, I'm definitely an albergue believer, but I do need a good night's sleep every once in a while. But I don't know about you guys. I think part of the Camino magic is like you don't need as much sleep and you're magically not tired. Like I find myself sometimes between snoring, bunk bed shuffling, everything, getting like 4, 5, 6 hours.
Yeah.
And I would think there's no way I can then go walk, 20 miles or something on that. But it's like a totally different zone that your body is in. So that's like one of the things I found really special about the experience.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the interesting for me, I agree with you about the not feeling tired, but every day when I wake up, I feel sore and I don't want to take the first 10 steps,
That's true.
So once I'm like 20 minutes in, great. I probably also have the ibuprofen flowing through my body, but yeah, I always start the day not wanting to take even a step. But I normally I am not an early riser unless it's really hot. I will get up as early as I need to on a hot day to be able to avoid the really hot temperatures. When I was there in July, we had a whole week that was over 90 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in Celsius, but I mean, it was a hot week. And so, yeah, I was up very early those times. So most of the time I'm like putting out the albergue at 7:58, and then probably going to get breakfast after that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not even starting walking sometimes till 8:30 or 9, which also is because we have these groups that are walking, sometimes we're only going 25 kilometers in a day or 23 kilometers in a day. So I could be done by, noon if I wanted to. A lot of times I'm going slower than that, but I'm a pretty fast walker. Like my pace is pretty fast. I'm about, on flat land, we can get close to 4 miles an hour. Sometimes it's more like 3 in the with some incline and stuff. But I'm a pretty fast walker. But I don't. I really love to make the stops. So I love I will come up on a place where folks are beginning to gather, and I will come in on whoever's been there for a while and talk with them for a while and get something to eat or to drink or both, and then wait for that next group to come in and have a few conversations with them and then walk on, so kind of let that be the place where we make some connections. And when I'm with students, oftentimes I'm checking in on them too, it's a way to find out who's doing okay and whatever else. So that's a big part of mine. People say that I had one group that said I was just taking taxi ahead every 6 kilometers. They were like, "How did you get ahead of us again?" I'm like, "I don't know, but we're past you 3 times today." Yeah. So I walk pretty fast, but I stop a lot and enjoy people. And then usually if I'm in by 12:30 or 1, I usually will just drop my bag and go straight to a restaurant or bar and camp out there until dinner time and just talking with people and basically spend the whole afternoon doing that. And usually I don't even do my laundry until and take a shower until after dinner, which is very unusual for most Camino people. But because I know I'm going to be sitting outside at the bar anyway, so I
think they would kick me out of the country if I did that. I'm the sweatiest human ever. I have to wear headbands every day on the Camino. Like my buff, it has to be on my head every single day. Yeah. So I could never walk a winter Camino. I think for that reason, I would just end up freezing because I would sweat through all my clothes. But that's actually a good plan. I bet if you shower later, they're free, right? You don't have to deal with the long lines. Yeah.
The only problem is laundry. So I actually bring 3 outfits so that I don't have to do laundry earlier. Because if you only have 2, you kind of have to do your laundry early enough that it gets dry. Yep. So I kind of.
And then you just dry it on your pack the next day when you're walking, like pin it.
Usually, if I have groups, I can use the machines. I book the albergues by whether they have a machine or not.
Yeah, smart.
So, because when you have a big group like that, it saves so much, cumulative time to just be throwing stuff in the machine. But it's harder to do when you're by yourself. So.
Right. What about you, Nadine? I think my sense is you're like a super power speed walker. Like some of the days I've read you have where you're just like nonchalantly climbing mountains with and getting lost and adding 10 kilometers onto your own day and being like, and I finished. And Ooh, I'm tired. I'm like, I think you have superhuman.
Yeah, I think
speed.
those of us that watch your channel know what kind of walker you are.
I know.
In your
I don't-
videos, you're just like, I just ascended the size of like a 20-story skyscraper, and you're barely out of breath. Like, ooh, that was tough.
Sometimes it is tough. Sometimes. Yeah, it goes back to, I think, like, when people talk about like just kind of their innate skills, like what they're good at, I think I've learned, and it's like hilarious to me, but like I'm good at walking. Like I just feel like I'm really good at walking like long distances, and my body's good. Like Jeremiah, you said, like getting going in the morning, those first steps and 20 minutes in and the adjustment, and like I understand it, but like I don't experience that. Like even on the Camino, I get up and go, and I feel like, knock on wood, I'm knocking on wood right now. Like I am so lucky, and I appreciate this so much. But like right now, my body is like built for walking, and it's good. So I walk fast, and that's my natural pace. And I tend to do like 30 kilometers once I like get going and kind of adjust, after the first, 3, 4, 5 days a week. 30 kilometers is kind of my sweet spot. If I do, and I'll do shorter days, of course, but then I can find it's either if I want to arrive in a city and have time to like look at stuff. But sometimes I find that if, I get to where I'm going too early, I can feel a little restless. So I do I tend to like some longer stages. I also, though, I'm an early Camino person. So I really like getting up early. In the summer, it's kind of nice if I can catch the sunrise. I don't love walking in the dark, so it's okay if I start out and it's like a little dark and it's right before sunrise, but I'm not a pilgrim who's going to get up and start walking at like 5:30 a.m. And there's nothing against that. There, for various reasons, especially in the summer, Jeremiah, like you said, it can get really hot, and sometimes you got to start really early because it can get dangerous if you're walking later. But I tend to like to start pretty early if I can. And I have some similarities to each of you, I think. So like Kate, I do like, even if I'm walking a long day, I do kind of like getting to where I'm going and like settling in and like, like taking a shower, washing my clothes. Like Jeremiah, I was getting a little like some anxiety just thinking of not doing any of those chores until like right before bed or after dinner. Like I love the feeling of like, all right, I'm showered, my clothes are clean, they're drying in the sun.
It's the best.
Yes,
the
and
best.
now I can breathe and just like enjoy what like
and
get
have a
glass of
beer.
wine.
I
Yes, a
promise
beer.
you that fourth beer at the bar also is nice.
True. So
yeah, but with nice Spanish beer, 4 beers goes down real easy, so it doesn't take too long. And I've sometimes had a beer at 10:30 in the morning on the Camino. I will just put that out there. But if you start walking at 6,
yeah. And your body, like it is kind of true that I think your body just kind of gets used to it, right? Like I think in the same way, right, that would be really tough in normal life, to kind of like, at least for me, to like drink at certain hours or that much, or like not get that much sleep, be awake with the snoring, stay up late talking, wake up early to walk. Like I can't maintain that in my day-to-day life. Yeah. But on the Camino, it's somehow it's totally different. Like I have a different kind of energy, I think. And sometimes it'll catch up with me, and I plan then a much shorter day. I think lately, I love staying in albergues. My first Camino, I stayed in an albergue every night. But I think these last couple of years, I've now started to occasionally get a private room to really kind of rest up and to recharge my batteries. And then just in terms of the last thing I think I'll say about walking styles, I am similar to Jeremiah in that like I walk fast, but I do stop a lot. Sometimes I'm in a zone and I'm just going, but I really I'll sometimes just sit on a bench and take off my shoes and socks and just kind of like hang out, give myself a break. I'll go off and take photos. I like to explore cemeteries if they're there, open churches if they're around. I'll stop for first breakfast, second breakfast, lunch, afternoon.
All the breakfast.
I'll just keep stopping. And yeah, Jeremiah, I was just really relating. I remember my first Camino, I would have a joke sometimes with other pilgrims that we would just leapfrog each other. I would pass the same pilgrim 5 times in a day. And they're like, how is this possible? And I'm like, well, I walk fast, but I stop a lot too. So So it's just kind of cool. There's so many different ways to walk a Camino, isn't there? I mean, just so many ways.
Absolutely, yeah.
I hope you had as much fun with that as I did. Click the like button, and if you want to see some of the previous videos that we did, check this box right here, and you'll see some of the other videos that have been in this series, Buen Camino, Pilgrims.